is. It really is. It's like country with convenience.
That they've spent the last 25 years sort of vigorously defending their isolation.
People are buying here because they like the aesthetics of the country look. Now, one of the major drainage that comes from, even from my yard, comes through here, and this is a very dangerous area. We are unique, and we like that. We are stronger for our differences.
Good evening and welcome to Know My Neighborhood, our monthly KSAT special, where we take our show on the road to learn about all the different parts of San Antonio that make our city so great. The good, the bad, the frustrating.
And tonight we are coming to you from the great space that is Oakland Estates.
Welcome to Oakland Estates, and there's a reason we are here in the back venue part of the Magnolia Pancake House right off Huebner Road. It is because this is what this neighborhood is all about, right in the heart of the bustling city. They love the fact that this is country with convenience.
We're going to get to know so much about Oakland Estates over this next hour, but first let's talk about where exactly we are. Hard to imagine that this country setting is in a very busy part of town, but take a look here. We're on the northwest side. We're just west of I-10. This neighborhood runs from Research to Babcock and then also between Huebner and Prue Roads. Yeah, it looks country. It's nice and peaceful, but a major highway is right over there. We are right in the heart of this city. So tonight we're coming to you, as Steve mentioned, from the Magnolia Pancake House. And over the years, places like this and a whole lot more of them have developed all around this community.
Yeah, and one person that knows that all too well is my new best friend, 94-year-old Miss Lottie Millsap. She took me on a tour of the ins and outs to show me what Oakland Estates is all about. How long have you lived here?
Since May the 10th, 1957.
1957.
Yeah, before you were even a gleam in your daddy's eye.
Not that far before.
I've given lots of nature tours out at Frederick Park and Bernie and different places, but never just
a neighborhood tour.
Neighborhood tour.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have fun. And first I got to figure out how to get out of your driveway, Lottie.
Well, go up there and then back into this.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Cut it sharp.
I'm glad you're with me.
Well, I don't want to be a backseat driver now, please. Johnny Bush. You know Johnny Bush?
Yeah, the singer?
Yeah, that was where he lived.
So you could throw a football from Huebner and hit these houses. You wouldn't think that.
That's right. And see, now see, here are some of the new houses. People who were learning about this country out here.
Can you show these guys your map?
Oh, yes.
Show me the boundaries of Oakland Estates on here.
Babcock Road, Prue Road, and Southwell. So it's a triangle.
So when you moved out here, Huebner Road was gravel.
Huebner was gravel. Yes, all of the roads were gravel.
And you've seen a lot of other neighborhoods change.
Yes.
But not so much this one.
Well, getting to take this tour, go on it, I'm seeing stuff I did not realize was here.
What would you like people to know about your neighborhood?
I would like to tell them, get acquainted with it. Know about it. Know the plants and the birds. Get to know it. So then, you could do like Thoreau said. When I went to the woods to live, to see if I could learn what it had to teach, so that when I came to the end of my life, I would not discover I hadn't lived. How about that?
How about that? I love Lottie.
Lottie, perhaps the most profound we have had here on Know My Neighborhood, quoting Thoreau.
Having lived in this neighborhood since 1957, she knew the exact date they moved in. She and her husband. Her husband is not with us anymore, regretfully, but she is very independent. She stands up for this neighborhood, and she, like a lot of people here, lovingly say to the city of San Antonio, leave us alone.
We're going to hear more from Lottie coming up later in this episode. I want you to see the list of animals a literal list that she keeps to let people know the nature that is out here they're fighting so hard to preserve. Now we want to talk about the history of this neighborhood. Every episode, we want you to show you not only where a neighborhood is going, but where it's been. And we learned that Oakland Estates actually has some ties to some of the earliest moments in Texas history. In fact, before Texas was even Texas. The land this neighborhood sits on has a connection to a famous Texas battle. Not this one, but a battle that happened 3 months before the Alamo.
Oakland Estates actually is a chunk of land that was granted to Jose Alameda for his participation as a soldier in the Siege of Behar in 1835.
Alameda was part of Juan Seguin's militia in that battle against Mexico. The land was sold a few times after he owned it, but eventually part of it was purchased in 1877 by a man with another familiar last name, Amos Babcock.
And of course, it's defined by, Babcock, Huebner, and Prue roads. Babcock eventually transferred roughly what is now Oakland Estates, about 900 acres, to developers in 1923.
In 1926, the area was platted, meaning it was defined as a subdivision in Bexar County, but one meant to be rural.
Very specifically platted it all with large lots.
All of this back in here was a big flat meadow with wildflowers, good soil and not a lot of rocks.
Oakland Estates was annexed into the city of San Antonio in 1972. In 1998, the city outlined a plan for the neighborhood, which aimed to preserve the semi-rural setting and country atmosphere. All these years later, neighbors here are still trying to hold on to that.
You could sit me down here and I wouldn't know where I was. With so much construction, businesses, not in Oakland Estates.
But all around this neighborhood, a rural enclave in a bustling part of the city.
They've spent the last 25 years sort of vigorously defending their isolation, if you will. I think it is getting harder and harder.
It's an effort that neighbors here have taken on for those 2+ decades, and we're going to talk to one woman who really has spearheaded that later on in this show.
They really call it a triangle of tranquility.
Yeah.
There are some drainage issues here, which we're going to also get into a little bit later in the show, but in order to have drainage issues, you have to have rain, and that hasn't been a concern lately. Let's check in with Adam Caskey down the street at Camacho's Mexican restaurant. About to go inside for Thermometer Thursday, but I'm enjoying this cooler weather. It's great with the fire behind us and all kinds of stuff,
yeah.
Adam.
It really is. Y'all have the fire. I have my flannel, and I will be very comfortable and pleasant for the rest of this evening. And you'll feel the chill again later tonight and tomorrow morning, but just like today, we will warm up quickly. Earlier today, we had the coldest temperature we've had in San Antonio since February 19th. It's been that long. We made it down to 39 officially at the airport. Some parts of the hill country had a very brief and light freeze, just hitting 31, 32 for a few hours earlier this morning. Now, it's not going to be as cold tonight, but again, you will feel a chill in the air. Low 40s to start the day, so maybe the flannel in the morning, but short sleeves by the afternoon. And we also have the new drought monitor. I mean, you mentioned you need rain, right, for drainage. Yeah, we have the new drought monitor. It's, of course, not any better than last week's. We'll take a look at that. Some of the changes. Any rain chances going forward looking very, very slim, but a cold front is likely to greet us on Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about our warming trend over the next few days and then that cold front in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Adam. Let's go check out I-35 and I-37 now with our traffic authority, and you can see especially the inbound traffic on I-35 backed up, very busy, a lot of people out and about on this 1 week from Thanksgiving.
There is so much more still to come here on Know My Neighborhood. It is no secret this community has a voice. We just heard how they're speaking up about what's best for them as long as the community has been here. Still ahead here, we get a firsthand look at how one woman has been leading that advocacy for decades.
But before that, neighbors frustrated with a new city plan that they just heard about. The ripple effect they believe this drainage project will trigger and the concerns they're trying to communicate to City Hall. before we go to break, here's a look outside with live cam. More Know My Neighborhood from Oakland Estates when we come back.
lived in Oakland Estates for about 32 years, and I love it because it's like you're in the country, but you're right in the city, close to shopping, events, church. It's a fabulous, fabulous little community.
It's close to the medical center. It's close to downtown. It's convenient to all the shopping, and I have 2 acres, so it's like I have no neighbors.
I like the nature side of it. It's good for people as well. It's not just, that I like, having the nature itself too. I also like the natural benefits they provide people. As well as I love that we are still able to support, some wildlife in the neighborhood. And I think that this is still an important part for the human psyche. So that's what I really like about living in this neighborhood.
Welcome back live from Oakland Estates, country but convenient. And when we sat down first and met with the neighbors from the Oakland Estates, one of their biggest concerns were traffic problems along Southwell Road. That was then, but that main concern quickly changed.
Yeah, just 1 week ago, the city presented its first ideas for a drainage project to neighbors who live here. This would address the drainage issues along Southwell and Hollyhock Road. So let's take a look at some of the renderings that the city showed neighbors during that presentation last week. They show the proposed improvements, which include a 15-foot drainage channel, a new underground drainage system, and a merge with the current drainage project along Prue Road called Outfall C.
According to the city, design of the $6 million project is 40% complete, but there's still plenty of concern by neighbors, and frankly, there's some anger too. Take a listen.
Do you know that there is a sewer line in that creek? Did you know that there's 200-year-old trees in that creek? And once that water starts flowing down here, what's going to happen to the sewer line?
Because it's an area that actually has more problems now that you're actually planning to make worse.
And you often plan congested areas to slow water down, but you're taking ours out and then running it straight into the truck.
Yeah, they are not happy. Construction is set to begin in the summer of 2026, finish sometime in the fall of 2027. Of course, we'll continue to follow it as we do with all of our Know My Neighborhood neighborhoods, just the issues that they are concerned about. We'll see where this drainage project goes. By the way, coming up a little bit later in this show, our very own Stephanie Jimenez will meet with a woman who is one of the loudest voices in this neighborhood. She is an advocate for her neighbors and for other people that she says throughout the city who should stand up for their concerns first and foremost.
Yeah, she has been the advocate here in Oakland Estates. All right, let's go to another loud voice that we know. Down the street at Camacho's, Adam Caskey, I believe, has made his way inside. How are things going out there, Adam?
When you're smelling it from outside, you just have to come inside and, talk with a lot of the friendly people that are here. I've been chatting with Oz over here and his pal and some of the other folks. And I want to get to the forecast because we do have the new drought monitor that's out today and a cold front to talk about that's going to hit on Thanksgiving, at some point on Thanksgiving. First of all, the drought monitor. Unfortunately, we've only fallen deeper into drought, and you see that big red area spread across San Antonio and surrounding areas. That's the extreme drought. I'm sorry, we have to share this, unfortunately, followed by the drought monitor. Not even a glimmer of hope for a few raindrops anytime soon. We're going to have the very dry air in place, and that's going to prevent us even from having much in terms of cloud cover, just some high and mid clouds, not the rain-producing clouds. 66 right now. A little bit warmer inside, but 66 degrees right now outdoors, and the dew points are still low, and it's that dry air, that clear sky, the calm wind that's going to help the temperatures fall off very quickly again overnight tonight. And even just in the next few hours, you'll really want a jacket for sure. Tomorrow morning, 38 degrees in Bulverde, 38 degrees in Bernie. That is a little bit warmer than the near freezing temperatures we had earlier today. 43 in San Antonio in the city center, and 41 for the morning temperature around Castroville. So you get the idea. Low 40s in the morning. By the noon hour, we're already sunny and 70. And thereafter, we warm into the mid 70s by the afternoon with a lot of sunshine and not much of a breeze either. Just a light and variable wind. Kind of like today. You didn't notice the wind. You're not going to notice it again tomorrow. Look at the high temperature trend over the next 7 days. We ramp upward gradually through this weekend. By Sunday, we're in the low 80s. Low 80s a good portion of next week. And then the next notable cold front arrives at some point on Thanksgiving. The exact timing is still up in the air. Remember, this is a cold front that hasn't even formed yet. We're trying to figure out how strong it's going to be and when it's going to hit. But look at the colder air to the north, particularly up in Canada, the source region for the polar and Arctic air. And actually, they have the Arctic air right now, some single digits still, and teens in northwest Canada stretching into Alaska. What it takes is a ridge to build there to displace that air southward. And we're going to see a bit of that. Notice some of that cold air plunging southward into the lower 48 in the days ahead. Most of it staying across the northern tier of the country. But by Thanksgiving Day, we're likely to have that cold front draped across Texas, and odds are in favor of it moving through here during the day at some point on Thanksgiving. Now, I say at some point, but keep in mind, it's our experience that these things usually come in earlier than anticipated, so we are trending a little bit cooler, actually noticeably cooler, in the temperature forecast for Thanksgiving with that transition going on. High temperature probably closer to 70 degrees. Of course, that's going to be modified a little bit in the days ahead, and the wind is likely to turn gusty during the day out of the north because of that cold front. And the more noticeable the cold front, the stronger the cold front, the higher the wind gusts will be. And I would guess right now wind gusts probably about 30 miles per hour behind that front, maybe a little bit more. 7-day forecast shows the warmer mornings as well. I want to touch on that. Mornings warming up a little bit. We'll be in the lower 60s by Monday morning with actually a hint of humidity in the air next Wednesday before the cold front arrives. Adam, we have to finish on this. Photographer Adam. We have two Adams here. Adam behind the camera, Adam in front of the camera. Till taco do us part. The first thing you see when you walk in here, and they've got a Christmas tree off in the corner, getting in the spirit of the thermometer ornament season. We'll be back for more fun coming up later, next half hour.
I'm sure he will find a spot on that tree.
There is no doubt. There is no doubt.
Thank you very much, Adam. Coming up here on Know My Neighborhood, the phrase this community has coined is country but convenient.
Yeah, and with good reason. We're going to check back in with my bestie, Lottie Millsaps, about how nurturing the nature in Oakland Estates is part of her life's work. We're live at Magnolia Pancake House located inside the Oakland Estates neighborhood. We'll be back in 3 minutes. back. We did literally just put another log on the fire. The bacon and the beans will be coming up here soon. We are live here at Oakland Estates, and the one thing that you notice, and the one thing that people who live here love, is that there is room to breathe and room to roam, not just for the people, but also for the wildlife.
It's something here neighbors are so proud of. They're working to preserve that. And most notably among them, a face you're already familiar with, Lottie Millsaps, Steve's bestie. She is a longtime homeowner here, and she also just happens to be the neighborhood's nature expert. Justin Horn shares Lottie's literal list of all the Oakland Estates wildlife.
And then Phoebe, that's another really interesting little bird, Phoebe.
Lottie loves nature.
It comes here for water, and I have a couple of sticks that it perches on.
Whether it be in her seat in front of the reflection pond,
And let's see, we do hear the coyotes in the evening.
or from inside her Oakland Estates home.
My chair inside the house, I can sit there and I have a passing parade of all the different creatures that come across.
Creatures that other neighborhoods may not appreciate.
The skunks are another really cute little creature to watch.
But in Oakland Estates, it's all about keeping it as natural as possible.
So I decided to let the natural grasses grow, even though it looks shabby.
No curbs, no sidewalks. It's an oasis inside a bustling urban city, just the way they like it.
We had chickens, we had ducks, we had peacocks.
Frank lives next door to Lottie and raises chickens.
But there's people out here with goats and longhorn steer and horses, and it's a neat place to live.
You have a list of all the animals.
I do.
Okay.
After you called me. Yes.
I love that you made a list. So tell me about some of the more interesting animals you've seen.
Well, let's see. The white-tailed deer, the gray fox, the raccoon, squirrels, rock squirrels. We used to have a few rock squirrels.
The deer are plentiful. In fact, they came right up to us during the interview. And then there are the rare species.
Ringtail cats.
Okay, that one's interesting.
Yeah, now they're very interesting. They're nocturnal.
Proof that Lottie sees it all. She's like the neighborhood watch for animals. And for Oakland Estates, the residents here love their connection to nature.
This has to be a great place to live.
It is. I couldn't want it anymore. If heaven is better than this, I'll try.
And Justin joins us here live now. To me, it just struck all of us driving right off of I-10, busy Huebner Road, and you see such a peaceful little oasis.
It's
like
incredible.
That.
I'm jealous because in my neighborhood I see some stray cats, the occasional possum, but here, they got it all. They really do, and they embrace it, and I love that. And Lottie especially.
And you know, she's a botanist. She led tours at the area parks.
Yes.
I mean, this is a woman who loves nature and picks Oakland Estates to live.
It's correct. And she knows her stuff. And she literally wrote out all the animals, which is my favorite part. She has beautiful cursive handwriting, and she had the list. And all of her neighbors kind of said the same thing, that they love the nature here. They don't have the sidewalks and the curbs, as you guys pointed out. And it's just something they truly embrace here.
Yeah, and they are trying to hold on to that.
Yes, they are.
I love that she made a list for you and a map for me. So we got to figure out something she can make for
You know
Myra.
what? She liked the two of you out. I like it.
We'll figure it out.
I like it. Justin, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
There is still so much more here ahead on Know My Neighborhood as we highlight Oakland Estates with that country yet convenient feel. People here love their country living inside such a busy part of the city so much that many of them have devoted countless hours to advocating for their neighborhood. Coming up, we introduce you to one woman who's dedicated 20 plus years to fighting for Oakland Estates.
Plus, another aspect of Oakland Estates that celebrated the diversity here, not just among the homes and the neighbors, but the religious groups that surround it. Why the work they do is important to more than just this one group of San Antonians. When we come back. with the good and the bad and the frustrating, one of the other things we ask people in this series is what separates you from anywhere else in the city? When we talked to the people who live in Oakland Estates, they wanted to highlight how its diverse nature goes beyond just its people.
Welcome back to Know My Neighborhood. Another interesting thing we learned about this part of our city is that in this area, there are people who represent a wide variety of faiths.
Absolutely. Our Japhanie Gray explores how this community became a melting pot of religious groups.
No matter who a person is, they're created in the image of God and deserves to be treated without respect.
It may not be inside Oakland Estates, but the House of Prayer Lutheran Church has served the Oakland Estates community for over a decade. Pastor Sandra Lifesti says her particular church is over 50 years old.
There wasn't a Lutheran church right in this area, and this was the edge of the city at the time. So they were on the outskirts and wanted to be where the new growth was.
And that's a similar history to the Oxford United Methodist Church, which sits at the entrance of the neighborhood.
The church has responded with understanding like, hey, we have to look like the neighborhoods around us. If we don't, then we're not actually representing the gospel as it really should be.
Not only does Pastor Patrick Jackson say his church has a diverse congregation, but their partnership with Catalyst Church helps serve an even greater audience.
We are from different traditions, different cultures, different faith traditions, but we still share the same goal of sharing the love of Jesus with the entire world.
They're English, we're more Spanish, we're a bilingual church. In our church we have multi-cultures as well. We have a lot of Hispanics from Honduras, from Nicaragua, from Venezuela. We have some Americans, Anglos, we have some Hispanics, some African Americans.
With such diversity in the Oakland Estates, Lutheran and Methodist are just a tiny portion of the melting pot. The community is made up of Christian and Catholic churches, Jewish synagogues, Sikh temples, Muslim mosques, Buddhist congregations, and more.
Why do you think is this particular area that, a lot of these faiths have gathered together?
Well, part of it would be the medical center.
From patients to doctors to nurses to students, Lifesti also believes that people come from all over the world to work in the health industry. But in her experience, she's noticed something else.
This is one area where many refugees have been resettled.
Because of which, Lifesti allows her facilities to be used by nonprofits to help serve refugees.
To teach English classes or work training and things like that to the newest refugees or our newest neighbors.
That's how their community garden became a thing 13 years ago.
Many of them gardened and grew their own food in their own countries, right? So this gave them a way to continue what they were used to.
It was named Cielo, which means heaven in Spanish, and an acronym for community, interfaith, education, learning, and opportunity. Even though not all churches have a community garden like Cielo, the biggest takeaway is that these churches serve as a home away from home.
For me, this is the heart of San Antonio, this area. A lot of people come from other countries that don't have family here, and I could say that the church is one of the best places where you could have community and family.
I love that we learned that about this area because it is unique to what we have covered about other Know My Neighborhood episodes. And Japhanie, you actually learned on top of all of that, that a big part of some of these religious groups that are here is the foster care community.
Oh yeah, so basically in these churches, they band together to make sure these families who are coming from all over the place, coming to this one community, and they need to feel that family, that love. So they all kind of stick together, do what they can, and not only the foster care, but special needs community. So they do these programs and they provide these resources that will allow these people who are in these different kind of lifestyles to feel not only community, that family, and they have those resources to kind of get integrated into the community.
How great that these churches are banding together.
Oh, yeah.
They've got the garden, they've got the fostering, they've got obviously the worshiping.
Oh, yes.
Body, heart, mind.
Amen. And the biggest thing that I think is the hugest takeaway is that they all constantly said that, we bleed the same. We are all created equal under God. And they also said that, together, no matter who you are, no matter what your beliefs are, it is our job to make you feel comfortable in the Oakland Estates. And that's exactly what they made me feel when I came there as a Christian.
Great.
It was just really cool seeing those different cultures come together like that.
Yeah.
Daphne, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah,
you
thanks
got to
for
get to
having
bed,
me.
girl. You got
I do.
alarm clock
Thanks for
going
staying
off
up
early.
late with us.
I know. I'm about to go shake it on my pillow.
It's great to see you, Jeff.
Thank you.
The religious diversity in this area is yet another reason that Oakland Estates is so special. People from all walks of faith are welcomed as long as they agree on one thing: preserving this area. Up next, you're going to meet a woman who has been a tireless advocate for Oakland Estates for decades.
You know what? By now, we hope you have come to appreciate this country but convenient part of San Antonio. But the thing is, keeping it that way has not been easy. People who live in and love this neighborhood are always fighting to preserve it.
Yeah, our Stephania Jimenez had the pleasure of meeting one of the biggest advocates of this neighborhood, Oakland Estates. Sue Snyder says she is outspoken and she is a fighter, but she also wants this to be a lesson to other people in other neighborhoods who can stand up for what their neighborhoods really need.
I do have a gavel someplace.
You can say Sue Snyder is a book of knowledge. If you have a question, any question about Oakland Estates, she's your go-to. She's lived here for about 40 years, but that's not why people consider Sue to be the neighborhood expert.
I'm with the Oakland Estates Neighborhood Association and trying to retire because of health reasons. Mm-hmm. And I have been with them for 20 years.
Okay, I think you're selling yourself short a little bit because you've done a little bit of everything with the Neighborhood Association.
Yes, I have done everything.
Sue says a chunk of her work is aimed at preserving Oakland Estates and its beauty.
We are very much about native plants, keeping things natural.
Within the neighborhood's borders, you can't help but feel at ease, surrounded by so much nature, up high or down low. And that, Sue says, is intentional.
We've been managing to keep it to a 1 acre minimum. We have fought for a few of our stop signs we've had to fight for. We've had to fight for no curbs, no sidewalks.
And by the looks of it, Sue and her neighbors have been on the winning end of those fights. But they've also lost some battles.
The city has come in with ideas making us all the same, the city all the same. They put up street lights, without us asking us about it.
How do you go up against and fight the behemoth? How do you fight?
You have to know what you can fight.
And Sue's not done. Right now, she's focused on a construction project on Southwell Road.
Our concern is that they want to make that into a 4-lane road. But it will ruin our neighborhood, you know.
So although Sue says she wants to step back from her duties with the neighborhood association, something tells us she'll find a way to stay involved in all things Oakland Estates.
It's almost like a piece of your DNA is sort of in this neighborhood and in this association. What are you hoping that people in the future?
I hope that Oakland Estates will way outlast me and be here a long time.
She's colorful.
Yes, she is.
She's sassy.
Yes,
Sassy
she
Sue.
is. I like it.
And so many of these neighborhoods, you know, we have featured, they want things like sidewalks. They want things like curbs, but not Oakland Estates. And I think that highlights how from neighborhood to neighborhood, the wants and the needs are just so different.
Yeah, and so I asked her about that too, because we were talking about joggers. I said, don't joggers, I mean, this seems like a beautiful area because there are so many trees, right? So you get the breeze. And she actually said, yeah, well, some of the joggers, they just deal with it because it's nice to just run through this neighborhood. And if you add sidewalks, you lose that country aesthetic. So she says that that's one reason why they've kept it that way.
Yeah, and they still fighting for their rights to have all this nature. And she brought up the street lamps, and that was brought up to me too in this whole thing. Like they don't want them because they want the darkness. They want the nature to feel like this is not the city.
Yeah, they're like, we come here to get that escape. I mean, we're still, I guess, again, conveniently here in San Antonio, but that's what we want. So, you know, once you start adding little things, it changes the entire neighborhood, and they don't want that.
Yeah, and what a jewel to have that here, right at I-10 and Huebner of all places.
Yeah, you don't feel like you're in San Antonio.
Yeah, Stephanie, thanks. We appreciate it.
It's great to see you.
Thank you.
Let's take a look outside with live cam right now as we show you a larger part of our city. As tonight, from this view is all about featuring one of the smaller neighborhoods that make us so great. You're watching Know My Neighborhood, and we have more after this. Welcome back to Know My Neighborhood, live here in Oakland Estates.
Before we go any further, I want to give a shout out to our fire tenders, Mario and Andrew. Thank you for the great job you guys have been doing tonight, keeping this fire going. Also, down the road, you know, if he was here, he'd have the marshmallows,
would also be playing in the
he'd
fire.
have the graham crackers, he'd have the chocolate bars, we'd be doing s'mores right now. But no, he's at, you know, Camacho's Mexican restaurant,
on a mission.
enjoying that. He's on a mission
For
to give out thermometers.
Thursday,
exactly.
Yes, and I would have the Jiffy Pop. I always have Jiffy Pop around the campfire. It's not a campfire without Jiffy Pop. Just ask my middle school mountain bikers that I coach when we go on our race weekends. Anyway, it is Thermometer Thursday, and it's ornament season, so how fitting. They have their Christmas tree up. And what do you think? Right about eye level right here? Okay, I always bend it up a little because they can be a little heavy. Oh, she's a beaut! Oh, she's a beaut! Oh, and accurate too, by the way, 100% homemade. I have another one I'll be giving away to some special folks in just a bit. But first, let's get to the weather really quickly and talk about the temperatures tomorrow morning. Not as cold as what we had earlier today, but you'll still feel the chill. We'll be 43 in San Antonio and 30s above freezing in the hill country. Then we warm rapidly, and I mean, by the noon hour, we're already up to 70 degrees. Here's your KSAT 12-hour forecast, and then we're up to 75 for the high temperature around 3-4 p.m. So yes, a jacket in the morning, but just like today, you don't need it in the midday and afternoon. Make it into 74 in Bulverde tomorrow, 75 around Castroville and Rio Medina area, and 77 Nixon Smiley. So again, cool morning, warming up very efficiently. That's what this dry air does. It cools off fast in the evening, warms up quickly in the afternoon. It's kind of like that desert air, you know, that does that. Look at our high temperature trend going forward, because we'll get back into the lower 80s by this upcoming weekend and even into early next week. Then our next cold front arrives, and it just so happens that it's going to arrive at some point on Thanksgiving Day. The big question is exactly when and how strong it's going to be, but it's likely to impact our temperatures throughout the day on Thanksgiving, especially the second half of the day. Notice that cooler air coming down from Canada. For the next about 5-6 days, it really stays in the northern tier of the U.S., and then on Thanksgiving Day, that cold front actually pushes through our neck of the woods. So, one thing we know for Thanksgiving Day, not the turkey, but the weather, going to be dry. I wish we could get some rain, we just can't. The temperatures are trending cooler, trending in that direction, and it's our experience that these cold fronts often speed up between now and that extended forecast. So we'll be fine-tuning our forecast in just a bit, and it's going to become windy as well. Mornings warming up, and we'll be in the lower 60s by early next week. And of course, today is Thermometer Thursday. So, yeah, I threw a thermometer on the tree. I carry one in my back pocket, just in case, because it is the season of giving. I have Priscilla and David here with me. Sorry, my mic's not in the best place to talk, so I'll do this. But we were chatting earlier, and what did you tell me about the thermometer?
I love it. I've always wanted a Thermometer Thursday.
And you came close, it sounds like, because there was one letter different.
One letter difference.
In a name.
In the name. One letter. No R.
Well, here you go. Now you have the R. 'Tis the season. It's one of the Christmas ornaments.
Oh my gosh, this is like amazing.
I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger.
I'm a hugger too. I'm a hugger too.
I can tell. Thank you so much.
No, thank you.
Oh, and
Thank you.
it's so good to see you all here, and we'll send it back to you. I think by the campfire is where we're going right now. They're at the campfire at Magnolia.
I saw.
Yeah.
I love the reaction to people that just get a spontaneous thermometer. They didn't know it was coming. They just know it's going to happen. I love it.
Adam, thank you so much. We are still highlighting this neighborhood. We've got more on the other side of this break. Does the fire need tending to?
I don't know.
Andrew, Mario, somebody. Maybe.
We're also going to tell you where we're going next. Know My Neighborhood continues after the break. Welcome back to Know My Neighborhood. We've spent the last hour exploring Oakland Estates here on the northwest side, getting to know the people who live here and why they love it. Next month, though, we're going to go northeast. And it's not just a neighborhood. We're going to explore a city.
Yeah, it's a first for us here on Know My Neighborhood. And where better to go during the most wonderful time of the year than Windcrest, a place known for its Christmas displays.
Yeah, they're known for Christmas, but it's much more than that. We're going to explore Windcrest in our next Know My Neighborhood. Also, we want to know about your neighborhood. So we're going to put up this QR code right now. Scan the QR code on your screen. Help us plan out our next year. We want to hear from you. You're watching Know My Neighborhood, Oakland Estates, where it's country, but also convenient. We'll be right back.
That wraps up our country but convenient edition of Know My Neighborhood, live here from Oakland Estates.
Stay tuned. The Night Beat comes your way tonight at 10 o'clock. For all of us at KSAT, thanks for watching.